Hello viewers, welcome to yet another exciting episode on Y.T.T show. Y.T.T show is yesterday, today and tomorrow. My name is Queen Blessing Ebigesen, and my guest for this episode is a man I'm sure you'll be delighted to meet. But before I introduce my guest, let's take a short break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is Y.T.T show with Black Queen, and my guest for this episode is Mr. Emeka Ossai. I call him my big boss anyway. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Everybody knows you as Emeka Ossai. Please can you tell us about your background?
Well, Emeka Ossai, as you know me now, I'm an actor and a producer. I run my production company, Golden Premier Productions Limited. I'm from Delta State, a place called Otabono, Ndopa West local government area of Delta State. I was born back in Delta State. I spent most of my early times in Delta State, all through primary, secondary school, which was Government College Yeli, until I came to Yaba College of Technology here in Lagos. From there to University of Agric Abeokuta, which is now Federal University of Agric Abeokuta, where I graduated from. Most people do not know I'm actually a food technologist, but my inroad into entertainment started from when I was in Yaba Tech. My first port of call was modeling. One of these days, I was just minding my business, back from lectures to the hostel. I got to the front of the hostel and I was reading, the notice board, and someone just approached me, apparently from Linters, that they were looking for a face to run the campaign for pig milk. And the guy said when he saw me, he thought I was, suitable for the job.
Yeah, actually very nice.
Yes. Thank you. And asked if I would want to get involved, and I said yes. So he asked for a few of my pictures, which he said he would present to a board back in Linters, and in 3 days he'll be back to me to confirm if I'll be chosen for the job. But as it will have it, the very next day, he came back to say that the board had approved me. So apparently they didn't have any much arguments before agreeing. So that was how I started with my first job for pig milk, and then from there several others followed. In those days, Linters used to be the biggest agency. Working with Linters alone is enough to sustain you as a model. So I did most of my jobs. And it was there I also met a very good friend of mine. I call him my brother, Frank Osoli. Frank at that time was already into fashion modeling, what we call runway modeling. And he said that I suited, a runway model, that if I would like to give it a shot. You see, these stories are coming like at every point in time. Someone invites me into the system because they think I have what it takes.
That means you're as lucky as good luck.
Very, very lucky. So that was how he put me through the rudiments of catwalk, and from there I started getting my first jobs with fashion designers. And before you know it, I had reason to become the first choice model, which is #1 model in Nigeria. Now, these were the times when actors were not the ones celebrated, but models were the ones celebrated, who were the ones that interfaced with the who is who in the society. Nollywood at this time was not born, So from being a top model, I was invited to my first acting job on Third Eye, NTA, with Jacobs and Co. I remember my first experience at acting. I had a lot of butterflies.
What year was that?
Can I still remember? It should be at about 1990, 91, thereabout. Between 89, 90, 91, thereabout. And Uncle Lulu, whom I always refer to as my mentor in acting, was the one who actually mentored me, as it were. Gave me the courage to do my first act, which came out very well, and he was proud of me. And incidentally, that episode was very well, broadcast. And from then, I continued with them at NTA. And then, at the birth of Nollywood, after the first recognized Nollywood film, that started this fad, Living in Bondage, the producer, Okechi Ogunjofo, who I think after that first attempt went separate ways. Went separate ways with Ken Neboy. decided to make another film called Circle of Doom. Even though it was an Igbo film, I'm not proficient in the Igbo language, he still wanted me to be there for my star face value as a top model. And that was how I appeared on Circle of Doom, being my first film in Nollywood. That was also Liz Benson's first film because we appeared together on that film. I spoke English all through, but I guess he was satisfied because what he was after was for me to be in that film. So you see that my journey into entertainment was smooth sailing and was, based on invitations. Yeah. So that is how.
Actually, the main reason for this program is, to bring celebrities like you who I know have achieved, through hard work and being sincere, to educate our youth out there that, you can actually make it being a sincere person. The fact that you've been very lucky doesn't change anything. You can, also tell us, maybe advise the young ones out there that even though you are lucky, that there are some people who have to really go through a lot of stress, in going, getting to where they are today. So maybe we can just talk about that.
Well, the way I will approach it from my own experience, I will always advise youth out there to be focused. I remember when I was in school, my initial focus, as it were, was to travel out of the country, just like every young man wanted to at that time. And for some reason, first, second attempts didn't quite work out. You understand? And when I had started earning money as a model, I decided, I just thought to myself, if the reason why I'm going out there is to see if I can make a better living, and right here I'm beginning to make a good living, even as a student, why can't I just concentrate on that? In fact, that was from that point I decided that I probably would de-emphasize on food technology as a course that I'm studying, and face entertainment that is already paying me at that time more than what an average graduate would earn. So for that reason, I focused. Now, when I started acting, I told myself that the peak of anybody who is coming into acting or the acting industry, taking that as a career, is becoming a producer. I mean, the producer is actually at the head of everything that happens. So my aim from that point was to become a producer. Now, I did a first attempt with Thorns of Rose. That was 2 years after my first attempt at acting.
I'm sure that was not the movie I was thinking.
That's
What was the movie?
Thorns of Rose. That is the movie that you were one little kid that came on board. Also.
Okay, let's take a short break, viewers, please. When we come back, we'll be talking about that little kid that appeared in this movie years ago. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is still Y.T.T Show with Black Queen, and my guest is still Emeka Ossai, Mr. Emeka Ossai. You were talking about, me featuring in your movie when I was a little girl, so let's take it from there.
Well, yes, we're talking about Thorns of Rose, where you, as a very little girl, played my younger sister.
How was I that little? That's like maybe 10 years ago.
Well, maybe we'll watch that clip so that you see how little you were at that time.
Okay.
It was also on the same film that we featured Obotola, her first lead role, as it were. Then she was still, I think she was in her last year in secondary school, because I remember she used to also come on my set in her school uniform. That was also Sean George's first acting role, because I remember that I saw her as a guest of Ngozi Nwosu in Ngozi Nwosu's house. Then my late wife Jennifer was living with Ngozi Nwosu, and I saw her, young, beautiful looking, and I asked my girlfriend then, who became my wife, who is late now, that could we use her, and all that. So she now had to speak to Blessing Eremi to talk to the boyfriend to allow her to act on the program. That was her very first attempt at acting, and she did very well. Well, all the people I'm talking about now are big people.
Yeah.
You, Abotola, and all that.
I'm telling you.
So now, if I had been able to achieve that much at that point, I was convinced that yes, there was a future for me in this industry. And now after that, it took a while before I did my next film, but at least I had convinced myself that I had a future. So the next step now was to set up a proper production company, with complements of equipment and all that, which of course I've been able to achieve, and I've been running for some years
with
now.
Clinic Matters.
different program. Wait, okay, let me set this straight. Clinic Matters is not my program.
Oh, everybody thinks it's yours.
No, I'm just a star actor.
Okay,
the
wow.
producer is Paul Igwe, a very young man who was referred to me by Pichiku Ogunjofo, whom I have a lot of respect for.
It's actually good we're talking about this now because everybody thinks Clinic Matters is your job.
No, it is not Emeka Ossai's job. It's not from Golden Pyramid Productions. I'm just a star actor on that program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on this program, but I won't let you go, even though you're not saying the things that I like to hear. But Adia, because now you've been very, very lucky. You've been as lucky as the president of Nigeria, who every step of the way has been called to do one thing or the other and all that. But at the end of it, because you're a leader, you've been someone who has taught a lot of us how to be good citizens. Because I know you're a man, I'm a woman, but then I've learned so much from you. You know, I appeared in your job years ago, and you told me so many things in this industry that you might not remember, but I still have them in my mind. And each time I think about them, I say, Emeka Ossai said this thing, and I'm going to disappoint him by showing him I'm going to stay focused. That has kept me on my toes. You've been able to train a lot of people, and I know that bringing you on this program is going to touch a lot of lives watching you out there, because I mean, you get to find out a lot of things that people didn't know about you before. Moving on, I'd like you to talk about, a lot of our youths who believe that being a 419 is actually way out, or being a drug peddler is actually...
No, it is bad, and it is very unfortunate that some of our youth are finding in some wrong people role models. And that is where I would commend this program you have today, because the reason why a lot of our youth are looking up to the wrong people as their role models is because the right people have not actually come out to mentor some of these young people. I would tell every youth out there that crime does not pay. Whichever level of success you think you're deriving in the short term, in the long term you will suffer. You will pay for your crimes, as we're seeing every day in this society. But for someone who works consistently and painstakingly, you will reap the benefits at the end of the day. Like today, I have referred to people like you, or Mochola, people like Shan George that I have mentored. When I sit back and I look at this pool, I'm happy. Like what you said, I said to you, I spoke the same thing to Omotola when I told her, I said, I have seen a lot of talent in you, and I can assure you that you will not need to impress anyone further apart from carrying out your art very well in order to move further in this industry. You don't need, yes, I said you don't need to cheapen yourself before anyone in order to move further. And by the grace of God, today, both of you are big successes, and I'm very happy. So when I want to refer to my achievements, I refer to people like you. And then you can see some awards here.
Awards to show for it.
Well, this is an AMA award that I was given 2008 for the best actor role in his, best actor in a supporting role. That was in 2008, as my personal, reward for all my efforts as an actor. Then these two I have received, coupled with some other individual awards given to actors on my program. As a producer, I have achieved all this. My productions, both Crossroad and Comfort Zone, have won individual awards. Actors on them like Kit Henshaw also won an award through my program. Kunle Salau, who is the writer of Clinic Matters and also the writer of Comfort Zone, won an award, by virtue of being on my program. So I think I'm fulfilled to a large extent. I'm just consolidating on my successes.
Wow, because this show is Y.T.T show, which is Y and the double T, that's yesterday, today and tomorrow. We'd like you to tell us about, to tell us what you think your tomorrow will be because of the hard work you've put in yourself, in this industry and in people.
Well, I think by tomorrow we continue to be very bright and uplifted. Like I said, I'm now in the stage of consolidating my successes. I am seeing me and my company as one of the greatest content providers in Africa at the first instance and around the world. Because that's exactly what I'm doing, generating content for TV, and then film. You understand? So I see my little empire growing, as a formidable content, provider. Some of our content have been used and incorporated into more international commercials. I remember the last commercial for, I think, Lux or one of those, done in, no, it was Bonvita, done in Kenya. Part of my clips, I had to submit pitching with other people, and it won for it to be incorporated into that commercial. That's a big deal. You know, my program is syndicated across Africa, the Caribbean, and and I think I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. Let's take a short break. We're still talking to Mr. Emeka Ossai. When we come back, we'll tell you more. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is still Y.T.T show with Black Queen, and my guest is still Mr. Emeka Ossai. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. I know I'm stressing you, but I'm going to ask you a question I'm not even supposed to ask you on this program, because that's not the reason why this program is being put in place. But I'm touched in my spirit to ask you. A lot of people don't know that you have kids now, because I mean it took you a long time to be able to be a father. I'd like you to tell people how you feel, because I'm telling them now, Emeka is a father of 2 lovely kids, a boy and a girl. So please tell us how you feel.
Well, I feel very elated. It's part of my fulfillment in life that finally I have kids. Okay, I could say this part of my personal life is probably one of those hard times that I've gone through. I remember in my first marriage, I didn't have any kids, and unfortunately I lost my wife, and with it came some media backlash, and that was terrible. It is worse than some of the experiences that people have gone through, even though things were working out for me professionally, but that in my personal life, was very, very bad. And for that reason, I stayed away from the industry for a while, just to get some sanity, before coming back. And God has been faithful. So finally, yes, I have 2 beautiful kids, twin children, a boy and a girl, that were delivered in September in faraway Atlanta.
Yankee children. Well, I'm happy for you, and I know that your wife is also very happy, and when she sees this program, she'll be happy as well, because a lot of people still don't know you guys have kids. Because not everybody that reads papers, even though a lot of newspapers and magazines have also said it, that Emeka is now a father and all that. Well, on the last note, I'd like you to advise the people watching you who probably been like, I want to be like Emeka Ossai. How do I do it? What do you think they should do?
Well, for people out there, I would want to advise you, for you to be like Emeka Ossai, for you to at least be a success in whatever it is you choose to do, and anything legitimate you choose to do, be painstaking, be patient, be focused. Do not allow yourself to be distracted. Now, I have painted a very smooth picture of how I got to where I am today. It does not mean that I did not confront some things that could have made me lose focus. I came across a lot of people who are into unwholesome practices, but I chose to remain focused, because I said to myself, if success is what I'm looking for, and I know that this path will lead me to success. It's just a matter of time before I get there. And I can tell you categorically today that by the grace of God, I have been able to make a success of what I have chosen to do. So be focused. Do not allow distraction. Do not allow anybody deceive you by short games, because short games will always be short, as it were. You have to be painstaking in your work. That is hard, consistent work, and then enjoy what you do. Because the thing is, if you enjoy whatever it is you're doing, you will do it effortlessly. Even when you're going through stress, it will just be like part of those things that you pass through in order to succeed in your chosen line of, vocation or profession. That's it.
Well, there's another question. I remember I said lastly, but please, I'm going to ask you this, because a lot of people have issues with this. People always say that if you don't sleep with producers, you don't get job. And I always tell them, I find it very difficult, like telling them this is not true, this is not that. I didn't do that. When you're a producer, you've given me jobs severally, and you've never asked me out in the 10 years that I've known you. It's not because I'm not beautiful, because you have your own principle. And a lot of producers like that are out there who believe that they shouldn't sleep with you before giving you a job. I'm not saying they are not bad people. But this is the industry. Well, you're a man and a woman. You find a woman attractive, you can decide to ask that person out. But they always capitalize on the fact that if you're not sleeping around, you will not make it. Please, can you just enlighten people?
Well, you see, when you have the wrong values and you have the wrong orientation, and you think that the wrong orientation is what will get you to where you want to be, you will be confronted with such issues. There's nothing happening in Nollywood That does not happen in every other sector of human endeavor within Nigeria. But people, because we're in the eye of the public, tend to want to concentrate on the wrong part, of what happens within the industry. You see, there are two sides to the coin. By my experience, I do not believe, neither have I practiced the system of wanting to sleep with a woman. I mean, I even believe that it's low class for you to want to do that. It means that you don't even have self-confidence.
Yeah, you're cheap.
If you see a woman and you can ask her out ordinarily, why not do that? Why would you want to say because you are having a production, you want to see the opportunity to violate someone?
That's because you don't believe in yourself.
In yourself. So I do not think, if at all it happens, I'm not aware. If it happens, it's not a widely practiced thing because I've not experienced it. And I have not seen any actress who have told me that, oh, this producer tried to sleep with me. But I know that people offer themselves, just like it happens in schools, where they talk about sexual harassment. And then the lecturers are asking who is harassing who? Are we the ones harassing the students, or they harass us by the way they dress and the way they even come straight at you to say, listen, we can offer this and all that. I know that could be happening in the industry, but I will tell you I have never experienced it. It does not happen with me or in my company. And anyone who's experienced it should probably be asked how it started.
Yeah, because I mean, some of them don't actually know how to speak English. They don't even know how to act.
You don't even have. Yes, you don't have what it takes. Because I keep asking. I said, you want to function in an industry that is predominantly English speaking, and you can't even speak English, yet you want to act. How? Some of them cannot even read. So you give them a script, they can't even read it.
And
they don't even understand
it. A script and they say you're playing the lead character, and you can't even play two scenes.
A lot of common words they cannot even pronounce, yet they want to act. And then such a person has no business in this industry and will be ready to offer everything that she has.
So at the end of the day, if it does not work well, they now start spreading rumors, they start spreading news.
Yes, that they were almost exploited, and because they refused, that is why
Well, thank you very much for clearing that air. It's been a pleasure having you on Y.T.T Show with Black Queen. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. I know that the viewers out there have been able to learn so much from you, being on this program today. I'm sure you have a final word for viewers watching you right now.
Yeah, well, I would say to them, keep doing good, keep it real. And when I say keep it real, it's not in the sense of what you see these days on Facebook. Keeping it real is doing the right thing real all the time. Not being nasty and then doing that all the time, and you say you're trying to be yourself. I mean, like I said to someone yesterday, I said, your freedom of expression ends where my freedom to write of sanity starts. So you cannot be a nuisance and say you're trying to be yourself, because that's the fire I'm seeing amongst young people these days, and I think it's very disappointing. Be real in the sense that you do the right thing all the time and then continue to move forward. Hard work doesn't kill, laziness kills.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on this program. God bless you so much, and God bless your kids. Those are very lovely kids I love so much. Even though, yes, I've seen them in person in their dedication. Very
and then you have their pictures here too.
Oh yes. I love them so much. I'm actually going to keep this one. This is very beautiful. One whole family, lovely. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the program. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for watching today's episode on Y.T.T Show, and Mr. Emeka Ossai has told you so much. I want you to meditate on them and put them to practice. Don't just hear those things and just sweep them under the carpet. Try and do something. That's the only way people like us who bring these programs to you will be fulfilled that we're doing something good. Thank you so much. Until I come your way again, my name is Queen Blessing Ibidison. Keep watching Y.T.T Show.